Could you state your full name, your occupation, and why you decided to run for school board?
My name is Joel Rivera, and I am a construction labor manager. And I decided to run for school board so I can be part of a team that will provide a well-rounded and opportunity-filled education for the students of Ravenswood.
What do you see as the most pressing issue facing the Ravenswood School District, and what specifically would you do to address it if you're elected?
That is not a small question, is it?
Mhm.
It if I were to go for the root cause, because there are a lot of issues, the pressing one that I would focus on would be to provide services that the students need to serve them as a whole, child, from social, emotional to academic. I think if you were to put the one statement, that would be my statement, to ensure that we have the services to provide the child with the whole rounded, well-rounded education. And specifically, and what was the second part of the question?
What specifically would you do to address that if you're elected?
Okay, so again, I'm a construction labor manager. I have about 20 odd years in the construction industry. I am also a husband to Jesusita Rivera. She is a teacher at Castaño School, and she grew up in East Palo Alto, went to school in East Palo Alto, and now teaches there. So I've had a good experience when it comes to how the school district works. And how I would specifically address providing a well-rounded education for our students would be, first of all, like I said, I'm in construction. So in construction, I am not an electrician. I am not a HVAC specialist or a plumber, but I am in charge of them. Same would be as a school board member. I am not the curriculum instructor. I am not the student service director or the HR director, right, or the CBO, but we are working together. So there is a 5-year strategic plan that is in place. One way I would address it is, I think one of the first items they note is to engage student with relevant, rigorous, and standard aligned instruction and support materials, right? That falls under the CNI director. Logically, you'd have a sit down and say, hey, in your strategic plan, how's it going with this line item? Are you running into problems? What can we do as a school board to help you with that? And same thing, I think their second item is provide a safe, joyful, and productive learning environment with proper social, emotional support. And that falls under student services director. It'd be the same method. Meet up with them. How are you doing when it comes to this portion of the strategic plan? And how can I be of help? And one of the big ones, I think it's their number 3, is to recruit and retain highly effective and a diverse team. That would fall under HR, and it'd be the same method. Meet with them, understand, where they're at currently with their plan. So that's why I would specifically address it.
Can you describe one key decision the board should make that would help district students improve their academic performance?
One key decision, it would be to foster the love of reading and to maintain that the arts, specifically music instruction, becomes something that is well established and flourishes. It cultivates better thinking skills in regard to music, abstract thinking. Students that take music lessons tend to get better score in algebra assessments. And same thing, and for the love of reading, if we're going to break our fixed mentality, which I think runs in our district, one of the effective ways is to foster the love of reading for reading's sake, pleasure reading, if you will. That would be the two things that I would want the school board to emphasize and keep as one of their prime decision-making activities.
The school district and school board have been involved in numerous controversies in recent years, including facing fiscal insolvency and a vote of no confidence in the last superintendent who was forced to resign. How would you, as a board member, build trust in the school community?
Okay, so a few years, this is my second go around at wanting to run for the school board. Prior election for school board openings, I did want to run. However, I was a resident, not a United States citizen. And during that time, the communication between the administration and the school board and the school wasn't the healthiest, and that initiated me to want to run. I couldn't, however, so I decided to become a citizen and to be able to run for this election. And so I have. And there has been positive changes. We have Gina Sudaria, who has become the superintendent, and there seems to be a different mood, a different feeling in Ravenswood now. There is more openness, there is communication. And what would I do? Like I said, I'm on board to continue to foster that communication, that sense of we are in it as a group, again, for the end product, which is to provide for our students. So there has been some really positive strides in that respect in regards to the school board and the administration, and I'm here to continue that trend.
Ravenswood has been battling declining enrollment for several years and a corresponding drop in state funding. What would you do if elected to address this?
The long-term plan, of course, would be to, again, using my construction background, I work for a construction company. There are many construction companies working in conjunction with us. And I do have a core group of guys that would prefer to stay at home. When work gets a little slow, then leave our company. And the reason they say it is because we enjoy the way you guys run your company. We'd rather sit home a few days and come back to you because we know you're going to treat us right. The long-term implementation would be to grab that model and bring it here to Ravenswood, where the kids are here. Why? Because what we have to offer, it would make no sense to go anywhere else. That our end product, that we are providing a well-rounded education, with lots of opportunity for our kids, where this would be the default, right, place they would want to go. That would be the long term. And we achieve that various ways. One way would be to make sure that we have a stable school system. We do have the issue of high turnover rate for our teachers. They come here, they love the kids, they give their all, but it's hard for them to stay because, we do live in one of the most, expensive places to live in. And currently, I think on average, a given teacher here makes about $30,000 less than surrounding districts. And so by necessity, they'll have to move out. So we do have a high teacher turnover. And so, one short term would be to make sure that our teachers can afford to teach here. Not just our teachers, but also our support staff. Personally, I've seen, our bus drivers, our custodial staff, our IT department almost forced to look at other school districts because they really can't afford to pay the bills. And so that has to be addressed. Short term, it would be to understand our culture. I think one thing that would really help us increase enrollment is to offer something like a before school care, where a kid could be dropped off, before school starts in a safe place. Breakfast can be provided, some homework support can be provided, and that would go a long way for parents to see Ravenswood as a real viable place to leave their kids. Again, providing, uh, uh, I think, universal. Forgive me, I'm losing my train of thought. Universal preschool. I mean, let's get them in early. Universal preschool, to not just for uh, our families here, but perhaps in surrounding districts. We do have wonderful programs like the dual immersion program at Los Robles, Ronald McNair. We also have the Turnaround Arts at Castaño, and we should advertise these things, right? There's a host of things that I think we are not properly advertising. So those are a few things that I would implement. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to ask my last question. So,
Sure.
and we're running short on time. So, but if there's something you really want to add, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Last question.
Is there anything else you'd like the voters to know about you and your campaign?
Yes. I would like to know that, thank you for this opportunity first. Thank you. And I do have a running mate. Her name is Bronwyn Alexander. She's a fantastic candidate for school board as well. If you want more information, you can visit our website at empowerravenswood.com. Also, we are both endorsed by the Ravenswood Teacher Association, the California School Employee Association, the mayor of East Palo Alto, Regina Wallace Jones, and the San Mateo County Democratic Party Central Committee.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.